Hello, Kyler with FollowHook. Today we're talking about scheduling a broadcast message with Project Broadcast. We're moving on to the real thing now, sending a single message to multiple people. So let's dive in. Go ahead and sign into your Project Broadcast dashboard and look for the calendar icon and click on that. So I don't have any scheduled messages right now. I'm going to click the plus sign to add one. And here you can see a very familiar interface. It looks similar to the chat interface we've been using. It has the same options down here: add an image, dynamic field, use a template, and then message insights. If you don't know what those mean, just check out my previous lessons in this course and it'll explain the details on all of those. So here's a sample text message. I'm using two dynamic fields. I'm pulling in their first name and then I'm pulling in a custom field. If you watched the earlier lessons, I have a custom field for my contacts called film genre to just record what genre is their favorite when watching movies. So I'm just saying, hey, I know your favorite film genre is, and then their specific genre. Will you check out our new trailer? And I put in the URL. So as you'll see, this makes the message very customized and very personal to everyone on my list. And then also you'll notice that I put the URL surrounded by text because, as you know, you can't put a URL at the front or the end of a text message because it might not show up correctly on people's phones. And last, you'll see I added an image because this is going over 80 characters and I don't want any carriers, Sprint, AT&T, etc., to split up my text message because, as you know, if it's just an SMS message, it might get broken up if it's over 80 characters. So now I'm going to scroll down and click the message insights to see how I'm doing. All right, I'm way up in the green. So as long as you're somewhere in the green, that's a good safe zone. And that means my spam score is going to be very low at the carriers. So that's great. Close that. Now, a new thing that we haven't done before is add contacts under send to. If you click on add contacts, it shows you all of your contacts that you currently have in Project Broadcast. So I can go ahead and select them one by one and then click the add selected option, or I could click add all and it would add everyone in my list to this message. Or if I have anyone tagged, I can click the tag filter and I can say, hey, anyone with the Paradise Strikes tag, add those people. And I can also search by name and add people that way, or use the advanced search function, which then gives me a lot more options. Example, I'm going to delete the name, and in my advanced search, I'm going to scroll down to custom fields. I'm going to say, hey, show me anyone whose favorite film genre is drama. I'm going to click the blue arrow. Okay, it shows me I have one contact who loves drama. Now, a little side note to custom fields. Let me go back in here, click the magnifying glass. If I were to change this to lowercase d, and then click the blue arrow, it shows me nobody. Those custom fields are case sensitive. So bear that in mind when you're building your custom fields and then obviously when you're adding people this way. So I'm just going to manually add two people here. Click add selected. Okay, schedule. It's very straightforward. I don't need to explain this. Let's go ahead and pick a date and a time. So I want to say one thing about scheduling. Remember in the last lesson we talked about how Project Broadcast waits 5 seconds between each text message it sends out. And the reason they do that is because carriers like AT&T and Sprint and Verizon look at message flow. And if there's too many messages going out, it raises the spam score on the messages and some of them might not be delivered. So Project Broadcast purposely puts a 5-second delay on each message to help ensure your messages arrive where they're supposed to go. So if you're in California and you send a message out at 4 p.m. to 1,000 people, that might seem okay to you, but if you do the math on that, it's not going to be so great for people, especially on the East Coast. They're going to be getting text messages really late at night, if not early in the morning. The other thing to keep in mind is if you're sending out an engaging text message that people will respond to, make sure that your calendar is clear during the time period that you're sending this because you're going to need to be able to respond to people when they respond back to you. And you can do that in the Project Broadcast chat. So just a couple scheduling things to think about before you send your first big message out. Now, message boost, what is this? If you put a check mark here, Project Broadcast is going to skip that 5-second delay and it's going to send the messages out faster. The danger of this, if you're sending out a lot of messages, is some of them might not be delivered, and that's not Project Broadcast's fault. The carriers might drop them. However, when's a good time to use this? Let's say that you're sending just to maybe 10 people, and you know your message via Message Insights has a very good spam score, you're way up in the green, choosing Message Boost is probably going to be okay. But if you're not way up in the green and you're sending to a lot of people, it's risky to use this. Some people might not receive your text message. So this broadcast is ready to go. Now, how would you change the people you're sending to once you've already added them? All you have to do is click this little blue arrow And you can simply click the minus sign at the top to remove people, or the plus sign at the top to add people. And then the normal filtering applies. So if I wanted to remove everyone that had a certain tag or based on advanced criteria, I can still do those same functions when removing. It's a very nice, thorough interface that they've built. I'm just going to remove one person, and now it's just down to me. Click the back arrow. I'm going to save this. And it's just making sure, since I said to send this broadcast message right now, that that's what I want to do. I'm going to click OK, and there we go. So you can see under the schedule area, I have one scheduled text message. So you can see I have one scheduled text message. It shows me it's scheduled, it shows me who it's going to. Now, can you edit a message after it's scheduled? Yes, you definitely can. Just click on it and you can edit it to your heart's content as long as it hasn't started sending. And also, editing messages that haven't sent only applies to messages like this, broadcast messages. That doesn't apply to messages as part of a campaign, and we'll get into that more later. So I just heard a ding on my phone, which means I got that message. So I'm going to refresh the screen, go back to calendar. Okay, it shows me it's sent. Nice. Now let's look at one other thing really fast. I'm going to go and I'm going to edit a contact and remove their custom field. So Sandy likes comedy. I'm going to remove that, save it. I'm going to go back to calendar and quickly do a new message. Okay. And I'm going to add 2 people, schedule it for now, and save it. So what are we doing? Well, I'm showing you what happens when you try to send a broadcast message and you're using a dynamic field that isn't populated for one of your contacts. Because remember, we just removed the genre specification for Sandy. Okay, I just refreshed, and you can see now this one says sent. This one is sent and unsent. So that tells me that some people did not get that message. So if I click on this, over here on the right in the web interface, it's going to show me who got the message and who didn't get the message. Now, the beauty of this is Project Broadcast allows you to just click this blue arrow and it tells you why they didn't get the message. She's missing that custom field. And I've got my Project Broadcast settings to say, hey, if they're missing a custom field when I try to send a text message, don't send the message. If you recall from one of our earlier lessons, that's under More, and under Settings, Dynamic Fields. If I had this checked when I sent that, it would have sent the message to Sandy anyway, but that message wouldn't have made sense. So I typically like to leave that unchecked to make sure I don't send messages out that are confusing. So what can we do here? Well, a really cool feature is this double arrow, which allows us to compose a new message to everyone that didn't get the current one. So I'm going to say, okay, I want to reschedule a message. And now I'm allowed to either edit this message or I can jump over and fix the contacts before I try to send it again. So this message would go correctly. And as you can see, it's only going to that one contact that it missed. And now I can, again, do the same things, set the date and time, message boost, etc. So that's an awesome feature when you're trying to get a message out to people that didn't receive your first one. Now, since I sent a text message to myself, I can hop over here to contacts, click on me, and then open chat. And there we go. There's the first one with the image and the message, and then there's the shorter SMS message that we sent out the second time. Another quick note back on schedule, if you want to search through messages that have been sent or are scheduled, you can do that with these search features up here. And they've given you very granular search functions by clicking the blue magnifying glass like normal, and you can specify a lot of different options to filter the messages that you're trying to find. So you can play around with those. That gives you tons of control. Project Broadcast is just an amazing text marketing tool. So that really wraps up scheduling a broadcast text message. So have fun with this. Remember, time of day, and remember to use fields that are going to work for your people. If you have any questions, feel free to post at support.followhook.com. Thank you so much for being a FollowHook customer. And this is Kyler signing off. See you in another lesson soon.